Hi folks, welcome to tea. Well, coffee with John, but tea today, just because it's so hot. But we're going to look at 1 John chapter 2, and we're going to do two verses 13 and 14, because they overlap, they interlink with one another. And I'm going to mention two issues for the church today, and I'd be really interested to know what you think about this. These are personal reflections based on this. So let's just read verse 13 and 14. I'm writing to you, fathers, because you know him who is from the beginning. I'm writing to you, young men, because you have overcome the evil one. And then verse 14, I write to you, dear children, because you know the Father. I write to you, fathers, because you know him who is from the beginning. I write to you, young men, because you are strong and the word of God lives in you, and you have overcome the evil one. Well, I think it's obvious what's being said here. The fathers are those who are from the beginning. And I think they're the ones who mature in the church. Sometimes in the Presbyterian Assembly, we talk about someone being a father of the assembly. They've been around a long time. And you know him who's from the beginning. He mentions that twice. And that takes us back to the opening verse of the letter, where we've got there that which was from the beginning. And also in John, in the Gospel, John chapter 1, in the beginning was the Word was with God, and the Word was God. And here he's commending doctrine, because the heresy that is being taught was that the Spirit came upon Jesus. I mean, I found it interesting this week. I was actually with somebody, last week, I was with somebody who's a Christadelphian, and I found it really interesting just talking to them about that, because they tend to believe this heresy. I think this woman was a believer and just very, very, very confused because of her Christadelphian teaching. But this idea that Jesus was human and the Spirit came upon him and he became God and whatever. No. That's not what he says. He's the one from the beginning. He's God. So that's very important. And he talks about the young men as well. They've overcome the evil one. They are strong and the word of God lives in them. And that's the testing of overcoming the devil and deriving their strength from the word of God. Even youths grow tired and weary. This is Isaiah 40. And young men stumble and fall, but those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. The fathers in the church need to teach the young men in the word of God, and I would say the mothers, the young women as well. I think that is the really important thing. I think it's really important for our church. So these are the two issues that I would identify. Number one, I think that we mollycoddle our young people. I think we set them up in youth groups. I think we try and preserve and comfort and entertain them. None of which is in and of itself wrong, but we don't really challenge. And as a result, they're like people who are very, very protected, who when they go out into the world, they can't survive. They've not defeated the devil. They're not rooted and grounded in the word of God. They know they have to be, but I think they've never experienced spiritual warfare. We just try and we overprotect them, I think. And I'm very, very, very concerned about that. I'm very concerned about things like youth churches, where the church is predominantly, if not exclusively, youth. It's funny, I'm trying to get some students to come to the church here in Scots, and there are people, Christians, who discourage me, saying, no, you're not a student church. There are churches that students go to and there are churches they don't go to. And I'm saying, forget that. I want young people to come and hear the word of God. And the second issue I've got is with that issue of coming to hear the word of God. Because I don't think a kind of half-hour sermon once on a Sunday is enough. I think you need to be reading the word in your own home. I think you need to have the whole day as the Lord's day. I think you need to, I would encourage people to come to church morning and evening. I'm trying that here. It's culturally, it's not a given thing amongst evangelicals who've been influenced by Sydney Anglicans and the Presbyterians and others. But I just think that's important. I know people say we've got Bible study groups and so on, and yes, I think that's fair enough. But in fact, we need all of that. I just don't think we're in the Word enough. And therefore we can't fight the devil. And therefore all of this, what John commends them for, You know the Father. You've overcome the evil one. You're strong in the Word. The Word of God lives you. You've overcome the evil one, and so on. You know him who's from the beginning. Yeah? I wonder if you could say that to us. It's just a thought. See you tomorrow. Bye.